My name is PeterLengkeek. I come from the Birds, the Renvilles, and the St. Johns is my mother's side. I'm an enrolled member of the Crow Creek Sioux tribe here, and spent most of my life here on the reservation. We're the Hunkpati Dakota, which is part of the Medewa band of what's called today the Minnesota Sioux. That's who we come from. All of us here, we descend from them 38 that were hanged. And take great pride in who we are as a people. You know, we were almost annihilated. Our numbers were brought down so far, it's a wonder that we're even here today. We've been known for a long time as a forgotten people. Everybody thinks we're Lakota here. Whenever they refer to Lakota Indians, we're part of that. We're actually just the most western band of Dakota. There are more Dakota that settled up in Standing Rock and Eagle Butte, which is north of here. But this was the main place where Dakota are, and we've been known for years as a forgotten people. But because of people like Lyle here in the Diversity Foundation and the Crow Creek LongRiders and other entities that are not from here, you know, where people are starting to find out who we are, where we come from, and what we've been through. Like I said, it's a miracle that we're even here. Myself, my wife, my children, all the other people that are here. It's and that's how all this came about. This children's powwow, the honoring of the children, and, you know, everything we did here this weekend. It's beautiful. I have no other words for it. You know, these guys, they remembered we were here. That was deeply moving to me. I remember my grandmother always telling us that nobody knows we're here. Nobody knows about us. And it's I have no words for it, for what these guys do. I just can't do enough for them, for remembering us here. This is one of the spots where our people were let off the boats at. There's 3 spots here down this river where our people were let off at, and it just depended on the sandbars in the river and how high the river was at that time is where they dropped us off at. They were told to drop us off in the most inhospitable place they could find, and this was it. At that time there was nothing here. Everything, it was in the about the 7th, 8th year of a severe drought, and they said that everything was dead here. Even the vultures were dying. And that winter to follow that, after our arrival here, was one of the hardest in South Dakota's history. All of that coupled with the starvation, the brutality at the soldiers, the exposure, it's a wonder we're even here. When our people first got here, I read a lot of journals of the soldiers that were here, the missionaries that come to save us, and you know, all these people that accompanied our people, and they all kept journals and stuff. And And they all talk about when our people first came here, they said that almost every day they're buried about 20 kids that starved to death right here in this area, and they're buried in these hills back here behind us, these bluffs overlooking the river. The children back then suffered the most. I couldn't imagine it. Our people weren't allowed to leave to hunt and gather what we needed for our family. The army kept saying, you can't leave, you can't leave. You have to stay here, just wait. A boat full of fresh meat is coming. I'll tell you a story. When months after our people were here and we weren't allowed to leave to hunt and gather, and our people were dying left and right every day, they were starving to death. My grandma even said that they ate the bark off the trees. They would go down to the river and they would gather mice beans, they call them, baby mice. They'd find them nests and they'd throw them in the soup. And they always put a rock in the soup. The boiling water would boil the minerals and stuff out of the rock, and that was, that was sustenance. That was what kept a lot of old people alive. But this man, he was one of the leaders of this tribe. And he kept asking to go hunt, go hunt. They could smell the buffalo up there. When the wind was blowing right, the buffalo were north of us about 30-40 miles. And our people could smell that. So they kept asking to go, and they said, no, there's a boat coming, of fresh meat, supplies, everything you need on it. Well,